In 1954, a man landed at Tokyo International Airport. He carried a passport, business documents, travel stamps from multiple countries. Everything looked normal, except for one detail. The country listed on his passport did not exist. The man calmly approached immigration control. He looked ordinary, well-dressed, confident. He said he was a businessman traveling to Japan. Nothing unusual. But when the officer looked at his passport, confusion spread across the room. The passport listed his nationality as Taured. The officer frowned because there was no country in the world called Taured. At least, not on any map. The man insisted there was no mistake. He spoke multiple languages: French, Spanish, Japanese. He seemed educated, professional, and his passport looked real. It had official stamps, security markings, travel records from many countries. He claimed he had visited Japan several times before. But this time, the authorities had a problem. Because the country he came from simply didn't exist, immigration officers asked him to show them where Taured was. The man sighed. Then something strange happened. He asked for a map. When the map arrived, the man confidently pointed to Western Europe, right between France and Spain. But the place he pointed to was called Andorra. The officer told him this. The man became confused and then frustrated. He insisted Andorra was wrong. He said, "This is where Taured is. It has existed for more than 1,000 years." The room grew silent. The officers checked international records. Nothing. No Taured, no country, no government. Nothing. But things got even stranger. The man's passport looked completely legitimate. It even contained entry stamps from several countries. Countries that confirmed those stamps were real, which raised an impossible question. How could a passport from a country that didn't exist pass through multiple international airports? Authorities searched his belongings. Inside his briefcase they found business contracts, bank documents, hotel reservations, all connected to companies in Tokyo. And the companies existed. But none of them had ever heard of a country called Taured. The man grew increasingly angry. He insisted the officers were the ones making a mistake. He had meetings scheduled. He had work to do. He demanded to know why Japan was pretending his country didn't exist. The officers were now deeply suspicious. So they decided to detain him overnight. He was placed in a hotel room under guard. 2 security officers watched the hallway. The windows were sealed. No escape. No visitors. Just a man from a country that shouldn't exist. The next morning, the guards opened the door. And the man was gone. Completely gone. No broken windows. No signs of escape. No one had entered. No one had left. The man had simply vanished. Even stranger, his documents were gone too. The passport, the briefcase, everything. It was as if he had never been there. Over the years, many theories have tried to explain the mystery. Theory 1, a parallel universe. Some believe the man came from another reality, a world almost identical to ours, but with small differences. In that world, Taured existed, but when he arrived here, he entered a version of Earth where the country never existed. A traveler between universes, trapped in the wrong reality. Theory 2, a complex hoax. Others say the story was exaggerated, possibly a misunderstanding. Some historians believe the man may have been confused with someone carrying documents linked to Andorra. Language barriers, miscommunication, and over time, the story became legend. Theory 3, intelligence operations. Another theory suggests espionage. The Cold War era was full of covert operations, fake identities, fake passports, secret missions. Perhaps the man was an intelligence agent using an identity that authorities could not verify, but that still doesn't explain how he disappeared. Theory 4. A lost identity. Some researchers believe the story originated from a real immigration case involving a man with unusual travel documents. Over decades, the details changed, and the legend of the Man from Taured was born. But one question remains. If the story isn't true, why do so many records reference it? And if it is true, then one possibility becomes deeply unsettling. Somewhere out there may be worlds almost identical to ours. Worlds where history is slightly different. Worlds where countries exist that we have never heard of. And maybe, just maybe, one traveler accidentally crossed the wrong border between realities and disappeared forever.